Hi Libra, welcome to your October 2017 Astro Update. It's Raina here, and happy birthday to those of you who have a solar return in October. It's always really energizing to have the sun come back into your sign, especially when it crosses over your exact degree when you were born. So it's wonderful. And this is going to last until the 23rd of October, when the sun goes into Scorpio, and that will be your second house of earned income. So until then, enjoy having the sun in your first house. You may feel just more alive. Anything that the sun represents to us, which is our very lives, you know, our sense of creativity, our sense of, how we radiate in the world, and being that true self that we came here to be as our sun sign. So for you as a Libra, the essence of a Libra. But let me start with the transits in order, and some of these, and I'm talking about the, major things going on, not the minor things. So there's going to be a full moon in Aries on the 5th of October. And for you, this is your 7th house, and you rule this house. So this full moon isn't just any full moon. It's in the house that you rule. That's very significant. It's the house of partnerships. A full moon can be like a flashlight or a spotlight on whatever is going on in that part of your life. If you're somebody who is married or in an equivalent type of relationship, and perhaps things have been rocky, you may discover something about this person. One thing to remember is that Uranus, which is the planet of surprises and erratic, an erratic nature, is transiting through the sign of Aries right now, and will be until I think in 2019 it goes into Taurus, but I'm not sure. I think in 2018 it might dip into Taurus and then go back into Aries. So even when it goes into Taurus in the next year or so, it still will go back into that 7th house for you in Aries. And you may, if you've been in a long-term relationship, a committed relationship, I should say, you may have noticed that things have been unpredictable in your marriage or, relationship. And this full moon may highlight that, may highlight some kind of surprising revelation, or just there could be, for some of you, an ending to this relationship. But before you give me a thumbs down right now, just realize that it's not something that when these kind of things happen, it's not a surprise. People typically end relationships after they've had trouble already. And if you've had a troubled relationship, whether you decide to end it or the other person, that can actually be a good thing. So just keep that in mind if that seems that that would be a terrible outcome to you. Just remember that it's only applying to people that have problems in their relationships, where they will finally call it quits. Full moons don't always mean endings. Sometimes it can bring things to the next level. So people are having issues and they decide that they love each other after all, and they discover the value in their partner. That could be the discovery that you make. So just think of the positive in whatever transpires during this full moon in Aries. Okay, well, I think this is like the highlight of the month. Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is going into Scorpio after a year and some change in your sign. So you've had this Jupiter influence. Now, I have been reading some comments from people who say that it has not impacted them positively. And what I would say to them and to you is reflect upon this and see if you feel like your world has gotten any bigger. To me, when Jupiter is in the first house, it is particularly good for anything related to promoting yourself. The first house is a house of the body and the house of the self, the image, your persona. And it's a general positive influence. I think that there are some houses where it's more pronounced than others. It's going into your second house of earned income. So that is more tangible because the second house is Taurus's house, and it is about tangibility. It's about the five senses and material resources. It's not abstract. It's about things that really matter. It's also about your self-esteem, though. So I guess that's abstract and not material. And who knows, maybe some of you who felt that you did not have any blessings, if you will, from Jupiter being in your first house will find that having it transit through your second house makes you aware of the need for self-love and expanding that in your life. And, whether that takes you into any kind of self-help material and law of attraction, if you will. The other thing, too, about this transit business is that you have to remember, or maybe, since I haven't said that to you before, you wouldn't know, but it's more likely that something is going to happen in a particular house if you have a planet there that it can aspect, okay? So just keep that in mind. If you have an empty house, it may be kind of like a theme, but it may not affect you in that dramatic a way. And it should go without saying that these are general readings and your chart may not represent where I'm talking about these transits, even your solar chart. So degree points really matter here, okay? And it can change everything. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, here's another significant thing that directly connects to Libra. Your ruler Venus is going into your sign on the 14th of October, and this means that Venus is entering the sign in which it rules. It also rules Taurus, but Libra, you're going to love this because you are all about what Venus is about, beauty, harmony, and now you are going to have that. Not that you don't have it already. Librans are usually attractive and they tend to be very graceful and polite, having the social graces. So it's not like you need this, but you get an extra dose of it, and this can help you if you're trying to promote yourself, if you're looking for a job, if you're trying to get clients, or you're trying to get a raise, a promotion. It also can be good if you're looking for love because other people see you and you have like this extra glow, and it's really not coming from the physical dimension. It's kind of this aura about you. And there's going to be a special conjunction between Venus and Mars, the divine lovers. Mars is the more, I'm sure you can guess that Mars is aggressive, because Mars is the god of war, and Mars deals with the way we act as well as our ambition. But in love, it's the physical attraction, the libido. When you're attracted to somebody and it is based on, the physical chemistry. So they're going to be in conjunction on the 5th and 6th in your 12th house in Virgo. What's interesting is that the 5th is the day of that full moon. So I'm wondering, some of you guys, if some of you are on the down low, because with Venus and Mars in that 12th house, that's the hidden house. And so is that what's going to be revealed at the full moon, that you are getting busy with somebody that is not your partner? And I'm not going to moralize, but for some reason, Libra, I seem to be referencing comments that were made to me, so I apologize for that. I don't typically do that all the time, especially not in one reading, but I've been really influenced by that lately, because there has been some there was a particular comment made by someone who was very upset that I think that they thought I was trivializing marital infidelity. And so I walk a fine line, because I don't want to judge people. I personally think that we should have integrity in life. And when you're not, and I also think that it's not fair, and I think you would appreciate the idea of fairness, Libra. I don't think it's fair to cheat, because I feel like it's not giving the other party a chance to be with somebody that is going to be faithful. And so when people try to have their cake and eat it too, I think a lot of times there is that eventual downfall. And this is just cause and effect. I mean, life is all about what you sow, you shall reap. And yet it happens, doesn't it? It happens quite often that people are doing these things. For Libra, I think that you might go outside of your primary relationship or marriage if you feel conflict and yet don't want to directly address it, okay? Libra is very into avoidance when it comes to dealing with unpleasant things. You love to have everybody happy, and you also love harmony in general, and you don't like to have an ugly scene. So you may have a tendency to be passive aggressive, like do things indirectly rather than face them head on. And that could include, when you're unhappy in a marriage, possibly going on the down low. That's such a cheesy expression, but it's fun to say it. But I wanted to call attention to the 5th and 6th, because that I couldn't help but notice that conjunction between Venus and Mars is occurring in your 12th house, and the 5th is the day of that full moon. Okay. And that full moon is a bit intense in the sense that it's in a cardinal sign. It's in Aries, and there's all these cardinal energies that are kind of adversely aspecting it. So you have there's always an opposition when there's a full moon with the sun, but then you've got Pluto in Capricorn, and I don't know, there's nothing in Cancer, but yeah, Uranus, that can create a little bit of crazy making stuff, and so it should be quite a doozy, to put it mildly. But anyway, let's move on here, and Mercury is going into that second house in Scorpio on the 17th. So your mind will be on your money. And you may be crunching numbers and trying to organize your finances in some way for whatever reason. But you're going to start to have all of this energy pouring into that second house because Jupiter is already there at that time. The new moon 2 days later in Libra is in your sign. I'm sorry, because I was thinking of, let me say this. The new moon is going to be in your sign, so it's in the first house on the 19th at 26 degrees of Libra. And this is like your new moon. So this is you having a new cycle. And so set your intentions for what you want to manifest in the coming 12 months. But going back to Scorpio, the sun goes into that second house on the 23rd. So you have the sun, it's positive energy going into the house of your earned income. And that can even give you creative ideas and also just insight into what it is that you want, how you want to expand your finances. With Jupiter already there, you may be brimming with ideas. Mercury. And Mars goes into your sign on the 22nd. So the day before the sun goes into Scorpio, Mars is going into your first house, okay? And this will really get you going because Mars is all about action and your sign gives you that mojo. It has been in the 12th house. So that was kind of like a remnant that you might have felt a little bit more tired, a little bit less inclined to be active because the 12th house is passive. And so now you're raring to go. You may even want, you know what, Libra, you may even want to exercise. And I know I'm going to get some messages from people who are saying, I do exercise already. But, Libra likes to take it easy because you're ruled by Venus, just like Taurus, just chill. Not be like working up a sweat necessarily. Because after all, how would that look to work up a sweat? That wouldn't look right. And you're all about being beautiful. And but something, you probably will feel like a great boost around the 22nd. So all I can say, Libra, is you're having a lot of energy in those first two houses, and it makes you feel like life is moving forward. And so take care of yourselves, and I hope that you have a great October. And if you are interested in a natal chart interpretation, if you've never had your chart done, please check out my special that is ongoing right now for an hour-long reading. Take care of yourselves. Bye.